All their communication systems are moving through the consciousness field and are thought actuated. The people at the CIA call it WSFM, weird science and frickin' magic. The transdimensional interstellar technology will benefit humanity.
There has been tremendous disinformation.
The media is keeping secrets with the government.
These are lethal, vicious people. And I'm focused on exposing the extraordinary technologies that they want to keep secret. No aspect of life on Earth will be unaffected by it. Why is this being kept secret? That was the very first question from the director of the CIA that I briefed the first time, because he knew the subject was real. He knew that, quote, UFOs existed, had a sighting, but the CIA director didn't understand why he and the president were being denied access to these operations and projects, and why the extraordinary level of illegal secrecy would be imposed. We knew back when I first put together the recommendations for Clinton back in the ancient history, before the public knew the word disclosure project and what have you, that we would get increasingly in a bad situation from the point of view of the environment, geopolitics, and the instability of the world because of our dependency on a handful of oil kleptocracies and oligarchs. And of course, here we are in 2022, exactly in that situation. So it's a really important matter. People think it's tangential to the situation in the world with Ukraine, Russia, other parts of the world. It is not. The entire geopolitical order is driven, quite frankly, by this black curse of oil, which, if that's the only energy system we could use, well, it'd be understandable. If all there was oil and solar power and windmills, and there's not enough of the latter two to run the planet right now, it would be understandable. But that's not the situation. The situation is that we absolutely have the solutions, but they're in highly classified, beyond black, above top secret projects, and we can prove that. A little bit of history here. And I know that when, for example, the so-called Davis memo about me briefing with Edgar Mitchell, Astronaut Mitchell, and some of my early military witnesses, Admiral Wilson, at the Pentagon, when I spoke of it years ago, I don't think people quite believed that the head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff would be denied access to projects which should be under his purview and oversight and control. But he was. And that Davis memo proves it. And in fact, it very clearly states that he was threatened with demotion and frankly worse. Now that was a result of our initially giving the Admiral very specific actionable intelligence from documents and facilities and sub-facilities such as S4 and other places, Lockheed Skunk Works locations, manufacturing places for the man-made UFOs, etc. And unfortunately, even though you would think the guy putting together the intelligence brief every day for the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States would have all access to something like that, he had no access. The same was the situation for the director of the CIA that I briefed and the president. The same was true for the three-star general who was head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, General Patrick Hughes, who I spent a great deal of time briefing. He was denied access and actually ridiculed for even asking, even though I have witnesses in our disclosure project who worked in super black, unacknowledged special access projects on this issue and were assigned to the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, which is, it's basically, the DIA is essentially like the CIA for military intelligence as opposed to civilian. And the same was true for members of the Senate Intelligence Committee I briefed years ago, the people who had been chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, very senior folks in the House who were on science and technology and government oversight, and on and on and on. So at a certain point, by between 1993 or 92 and 1997, we had concluded that people who the public and the media portray as running the U.S. government. They do on most issues. On this issue and some related ones, they do not. There's a transnational, not international, group that has enormous technologies way beyond what even people managing the black budget of the United States would know about or have access to. And remember, Admiral Wilson admitted he had been involved in unacknowledged special access projects, off the books, deep black, but nothing that touched this issue. And when he tried to get inside that box, he was slapped down and pushed away while he was in that position. These are not retired people that I'm talking about having met with. I have met with some retired people. But the whole time that, for example, the Minister of Defense of Canada, Hellier, that I brought into this subject, and people like Minister of Defense Lord Hill Norton, with whom I met in England, who was a 5-star admiral, a Sea Lord, and had been head of the Ministry of Defense for the United Kingdom. The Minister of Defense for Australia that I met with at a secret meeting, I guess you'd call it, back in 2013 in Australia. None of these men, who you would think, okay, they're heads of the biggest, some of the biggest military operations in the world as their secretaries of defense or ministers of defense, that they would have access and have been read into or briefed. No, none of them were, not one. And they were not lying. So this is prima facie, in fact, proof of an illegal, unconstitutional, corrupt enterprise. And that's why we tell people who have been in these projects as, say, foot soldiers, technicians, engineers, tactical operators, corporate or intelligence or military. So if we were ever going to move this forward, it is absolutely right now.
Some years ago, I was invited to go to an underground research facility in El Paso on the Mexican-American border. And this was a place where they were doing these sort of technologies that are transdimensional, but medical applications, major stuff, technologies that literally, electromagnetic transdimensional technologies where they can, if someone had a missing limb, they can attach to the subtle body, the mystics call astral body, but that energy, like you have phantom pain, and regrow it. Here's the issue. The same technology that gives you that would give you free energy to run your house, because it's in that same, let's call it constellation of extraordinary technologies that they would want to keep secret. So there are a lot of spin-offs beyond energy, propulsion, and the environment that will benefit humanity once we can get the first level of this out, because it's unbelievable how backward even our medical technology is compared to what's possible. So that's also a very bit of good news. This is why I've called for sort of a Marshall Plan for the planet for new energy and the environment that is supported and funded by individuals in an open source way, and not expecting, I think it's silly to expect the government of the United States or any other government to get behind doing something that brings out the most disruptive technologies in the history of the human race. Let's be blunt. But it also creates a new civilization, and it saves our future. So if this had been introduced slowly from the early 20th century, 100 years ago, to now, we'd be okay. But now we've run out of time because of what's happening to the biosphere, geopolitically, population boom. So in order to create enough change quickly enough, we're gonna have to do something very different, very fundamentally different than what we've been doing.
What I hope Above Top Secret will do will stimulate more of these whistleblowers and people who have information to come forward. Because when you learn, and honestly, as an emergency doctor, I never thought I'd be put in this situation, honestly. Taking care of shootings and stabbings and car wrecks were less traumatic than this. But I think that it's something that has reached the point where there are enough people in government. After our documentary Unacknowledged came out 4 or 5 years ago, and it ended up having 750 million, 750 million people see it, things began to move and tilt where there were a lot of inquiries happening. There were some charlatans who surfaced who then provided disinformation to these folks. Now they realize they've been zoomed, they've been gaslit, and they're reaching out to folks who can actually, provide accurate information and assessments. So that's what our job has been. Although, I want to be very clear so the conspiracy kooks out there don't go nuts. I don't work for anyone in the government. I'm not paid by anyone in the government or a corporation or anyone international or a covert program. This is a completely self-funded effort. The Disclosure Project has never been part of that system, and nor am I even now as I share this with you. Now, that's by design, because once you get pulled in that system, it's a slippery slope to end up at the bottom of, at the wrong end of a deal where you've lost your autonomy and your ability to be free, which I guard more than anything. These folks who have worked this task know a lot, and there are thousands of them, and they're afraid, and I understand their fear. But now we have an opportunity to do something about it. Above Top Secret, I think, I hope, will stimulate a debate, but also will bring out of that system another whole, let's say, generation of disclosure-related whistleblowers. And if they can come into our system, we now have a place for them to direct their information that can result in change. And that's, what I'm doing this for. I'm not doing this for muckraking or gossip. I'm doing this to effect an enormous change, because the implications of the change are you can't even begin to calculate. Imagine having technologies that would at once solve all the environmental problems, most medical problems, end dependency on oil, change geopolitical dynamic that's leading to all these problems all over the world, and would give all people in the world the ability to live in an abundant, prosperous way with quote unquote free, so-called 0-point quantum vacuum energy systems, which are touched on in this film Above Top Secret. It's an entirely new world, and it's one that's been forestalled and been prevented from evolving for over 100 years. So this is what I call the whole lost century of social and technological evolution. And with it, I suspect spiritual evolution of our species, because people are still grubbing around trying to eke out a subsistence living. 3 billion people on the planet, by the way, still get their ability to cook their food by chopping down trees, making charcoal, and burning wood, which is what's happening to all the old growth forest, a lot of it. 3 billion with a B, almost half the population of the world. So we can do better than this, but we're not going to do better than this with the zero-sum game of fossil fuels or the low energy output and very expensive energy output of just wind and solar. These new technologies that are truly space age and amazing, that will give us the world of our dreams and will help create a new civilization for our children and my 11 grandchildren. And so it's neither government, as you and I think of it, nor a private corporate. It's a hybrid of the two. It's a complete commingling of what Eisenhower called the military industrial, meaning corporate complex. That is the truth. Eisenhower knew what he was talking about, absolutely. And he was betrayed by those interests. Now, we have the same situation now. There's not much that's changed since Eisenhower gave that speech in January of 1961 as he was leaving office of the president after 8 years. Unfortunately, I would like to say it has, but it has only gotten worse in the sense that the consolidation of power, center of gravity, has devolved out of legal constitutional oversight into this hybrid entity that is part governmental, but beyond black, beyond top secret, and highly centered in corporate interests. Now, if you study the history of fascism, the classical definition of fascism is the corporate takeover or corruption and influence of government to the benefit of the corporate entities and private financial and other entities. That is what the definition of fascism is, as it evolved in the 1800s and early 1900s, which then led eventually to the buffoonery and tragedy of Mussolini and Hitler and others. But that's the definition. So we're really talking about a continuation of that proclivity for both corrupt interests in government and corporations working together. But it's reached such a point of power that it greatly exceeds the power of what you just called the government of the United States. So I think people have to be, I mean, again, this is, it's shocking, it's disturbing, it happens to be the truth. I know that this is through the looking glass here, that a retired emergency doctor working this system for 30 years would have, and the people I'm working with who are substantial sources of intelligence on this subject, who come forward, we've become the de facto source of information for people that should be able to hit a button and pick up the phone and get all this information. So it's bizarre, but it's the truth. And unfortunately, I've explained this to the public since the 90s. I don't think people have believed it. I really don't give a rat's ass if people believe it or not. This is the truth. And eventually people come around and realize this is the truth. But I don't think that it can be my concern. I'm not interested in salacious gossips, and I'm not running for the mayor of crazy town ufology. We really have a very important project here that has to continue. The Disclosure Project just was the project that we named after Project Starlight, to get into the Clinton Library, which was the initial effort by people that I was working with back in the early and mid 90s to provide information to Congress and to the president, hoping they would do something. But they weren't ready, and now they're ready. And I think that this is a very good opportunity. It's a big potential breakthrough, but there's one hell of a lot of work to do. And we're going to need everyone's help. I want to be very blunt. I mean, this is, I don't have at my disposal $1 billion budget and armies of people to do this. This is something that's being done with like some of the folks you just named that will be joining me in a moment, out of their goodness of their hearts and their devotion to the truth and to making a big change happen that could really fix most of the huge problems facing humanity.